So I went to see this financial planner. After we're done talking about taxes, tax planning, he started to ask me, when do you want to retire? So I was 20 at the time. So I told him, 45. You need roughly around 3 to 500 million baht. I was pretty shocked, but that got me started working like really, really hard.
Before we begin, I hope you dear viewers and listeners forgive us for any grammatical and language mistakes made in this talk. Even though we want to try our best to perfect it, what's most important for us is to get the message across. So we try not to be held back by the fear of making some mistakes. Thank you for your understanding. Now, let's jump right in. For today's episode of the Lessons Learned, our super special guest was a successful actor who has now become a very inspiring entrepreneur and investor. And as many of you may already know, that he also makes a great content helping people improve their financial literacy. Today, he shares with us his life story, the secrets to his success, and great advice to help you achieve your financial goals. This is พี่ผอ PaulPattarapon ค่ะ Ladies and gentlemen, this is the remarkable พี่ผอ PaulPattarapon ค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Hi guys.
Wow. What an honor, people. Thank you so much once again for joining our show today.
My pleasure. The honor is all mine.
So, first of all, I'm pretty sure most people already know who you are, the legendary PaulPattarapon, right? But can you maybe briefly explain a little bit about or talk about the things that you are working on right now?
Okay. Well, first of all, my name is Paul. For some of the Gen Z why that may not know me. Okay. I am an entrepreneur and investor. I am an author and the founder of a YouTube channel called PaulPattarapon. Now, within that channel, we have two shows. One is called Money Matters, and the other one is called The Exclusive Talk. And we provide financial literacy. And I think, lastly, I am a student of life.
As we all are. That's a very cool but humble way of self-introduction. Now, because Farangangmor is somewhat an English teaching channel, so we would love to ask you, maybe how would you describe yourself in three English words that best describe you?
Okay. Maybe not the three words you are looking for, but what comes to my mind is, well, three words, right? Whatever it takes.
Wow! Whatever it takes. Can you elaborate on that? Why whatever it takes?
Sure. Because to me, I think we have a very limited time on this earth. So I apply this strategy or philosophy. It's called regret minimization. So basically, that when the time comes and I'm on my deathbed, I just want to look back into my life and ask myself that have I done my best? Have I tried? Have I lived my life to the best of my ability? If the answer is yes, then I think that's a life well lived. So I don't want to have any regrets when I'm like old and about to die. So the only way to of course I'm going to have some regrets along the way, but I think the only way to do that is to give my best at everything.
You said in an interview that you start working since you were very young, right? And that's, for some people, it might be like, why would you start working at such a young age, right? So can you tell us a little bit about that experience and what motivated you to start working and earning at such an early age?
Sure. I don't know why, but since when I was very young, I realized that we have like a limited time on this earth, right? So if if I work for a long time,
Yes.
then I would have little time to enjoy life. Now, if I was able to, let's say, compress uh, working years, uh, make it shorter, then I'll have a longer time to enjoy life. What I mean by enjoy life, it's not like staying home, travel, or just going to the beach. It can be being with your loved ones. It could be traveling, or it could be giving back to the society. So I think that's one of the reasons why I always wanted to start working since an early age. Now, when I was around 20 years old, that's when I first started to be in the show business. So I was making some money already at the age of 19 and 20. So I had to start. I had to start paying tax. So I went to see this financial planner, and after we're done talking about taxes, tax planning, he started to ask me, when do you want to retire? So I was 20 at the time, so I told him 45. And then he asked me again, like many more questions. For example, do you plan to have kids? Oh, at that time I replied two, maybe one boy, one girl. Okay, and how many wives do you plan to have?
How many wives?
I mean, he was being serious too. And okay, and what kind? Because I mean, of course, everything
could be
costs
anything is
money, right?
possible.
And he was asking the quality of education of my children, how many times per year I'll be traveling, and there are so many more questions. And the last question was that, when do you plan to die? And I told him, okay, let's try 80. And then, okay, after he got all the information, he looked down, typing in his laptop, and he looked up to me and, okay, Paul, if you want to retire at age 45, and if you want to die at 80, with the quality of life you just explained to me, you need roughly around, I don't remember the exact number, but it's roughly around 300 to 500 million baht. So, and I was 20, and I was pretty shocked. But that got me started working like really, really hard, because I wanted to be able to amass that amount, that much money before age 45.
Wow. And because you set the number of retiring at 45 as well, it's kind of have to compress a little bit more than average people.
Yes, I had only 25 years to do it. So that's why I started to working very, very hard since college. I worked 7 days per week for, I think, almost years. With no vacation. I was sleeping 4 to 5 hours per day only. And yep, that's I guess that's how that's why I wanted to start working like since when I was young.
I see. But maybe some people might think like, maybe I can minimize my goals a little bit. Maybe I can work until like 50 instead of 45. What motivates you to like, no matter what, I'm going to stick with this and I'm going to retire it early? And why do you think that it was possible for you if I work really hard? Because sometimes we get demotivated along the way, right?
To be honest, I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it. That's number one. But I had to give it a try because personally, I think there's more to life than just work. That philosophy in life. I mean, we have only one life to live. I want to be useful during the time that I'm still breathing. That's all. When I pass away, I just want to leave this world a better place before when I was born. That's it. So the reason why I wanted to retire young is not mainly to live a good life, to do good things, but I think to be able to give back and help the society, give back to the world. But I didn't know what I was gonna do back then because I was only 20s. But I think that's the whole point of retiring young for me.
Can you give us some example? Of course, I think a lot of people, especially in my generation, know that you were in the entertainment industry. You did a lot of shows, a lot of lakon, right? Is there any other things that you did before getting into entertainment industry?
Oh,
Like some of the jobs that you did.
Oh yes, when I was 15, that's my first job. I was mowing lawns in the U.S. Because I went to the U.S. as a foreign exchange student, and as a foreign exchange student, you cannot work at McDonald's. You can only do something like this, right? Okay, mowing lawns, babysitting.
Right.
So I was doing two things at the age of 15. I remember I got paid like $3 per day, and imagine when we talk about lawns, it's not like a one right lawn. It's like 10 acres of lawn.
Because what I had in mind is like the lawn in front of someone's yard. That's all. No.
Not like a 200 like square meters like lawn. It's like 10-20 acres of lawn, and I would be out there all day in the sun, and but it was fun. So that's my first job, I think. Yes. And then when I came back to Thailand because of financial crisis in 1997, we had Tom Yam Goong crisis, right? Or of Asian financial crisis. So I had to come back to Thailand, but I still wanted to go back to the US to further my education because I like it there a lot. So I started to think to myself, how can I save up money enough without bothering my parents so that I can go back for college in the US? So I started working for a modeling agency, not as a model, but as a booker. A booker, a person who's a middleman between matching models and the production agencies. I was doing that for like a year, making 9,000 baht per month.
Back then it was quite a lot, right?
It's a lot to me because I was still around in college year 2. So making 9,000 when I was still in school, it's good enough for me, I think, at the time.
After some times, then you got into the entertainment industry, right? And then after some, in my generation at least, and I think almost everyone, people, and then after that, we didn't see you for a while, right? What do you think is a tipping point that shifts you to the new direction? You get into the business after the showbiz. Like, can you tell us about that transition?
Sure. Going back to the number, okay? 45 years old.
Yes.
3 to 500 million baht, right? So I always had that goal. It's a very clear goal that I had. And so when I was working in the show business, I was making pretty good money compared to people the same age, right? I was saving a lot of money. I was pretty frugal too. So I would earn quite a lot and I would spend so little. However, after my calculation, it's still not enough to save, let's say, 6-figure per month. Okay. I need to go up to 7-figure per month. So the only way to do that is to start my own business and to invest. So that's when I first started to. A lot of people don't know this, but around when I was 25, I started my first TV show. It's a very small tiny show. It's a documentary about 3 minutes long for Channel 9. And after that, after I got pretty good at it, so I went back and asked for more time, like half an hour, and then it would grow into like 1 hour. And then I started to do many other things, for example, and I failed at actually most of the things too. I started a gym with friends, chiropractic clinic with a doctor, and a spa with my partners. So I've done a lot, and I have failed at a lot of things. And I think around at the age of 30, okay, after I wanted to save up more money, I started to do bigger venture. I think my friend called me up one day, and he was asking me if I would like to partner with him to start a boutique drug company. So basically, the reason why I shifted my focus was mainly was money, because I had that goal, right, and I wanted to achieve it. So I had to risk losing money. I had to become an entrepreneur. Otherwise, I would not be able to reach that goal.
I see. So you're willing to take the bigger risk for a bigger return as well, right?
Yes.
Because if you were still in the show business, then you get a lot, but it's still not enough. So it always goes back to the bigger goals that you have from the very start.
Correct. And I think I knew at the time too that being an actor or being a TV host, it's not going to last me forever. And I don't want to be doing this forever. I got into the showbiz. It's not because I wanted to. It's a fluke. It's not like I went out and looked for the opportunities, but I've been like very fortunate. So
it's okay to redirect your path. You said that you have done a lot, which is you just prove it correctly. You've done and you also said that you also failed a lot, right? Let's say that if today I have the Infinity Stones and I am Thanos, and we can like snap the finger, and you can maybe go back to talk with your younger self, and you can meet your younger self. What would you say? What would be the advice or maybe the encouragement to the younger PaulPattarapon?
I love this Latin phrase. I think it's called Amor, Fati. It's Latin. It stands for love your fate. So if I could go back to talk to myself, let's say 15, I think that's probably the one message that I would give him.
Right.
Love my fate or love my life basically means you love everything that comes into your life, whether it's good or bad. Happy people are not people who come across like good things all the time, but happy people are people who come across anything, but they are able to find good things within everything. So I think if I had known that earlier, since when I was 15, I would have enjoyed life more. And so love my fate.
Word of wisdom. Wow. That sounds like kind of like a wrap up to the whole thing already. I'm pretty sure a lot of people that have been following your YouTube channels and watch any of your content would agree with me that you are an incredibly polite, calm, and you have this kind, compassionate vibe, people. And do you agree with that perception of you?
Well, first of all, well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Well, I don't know that. I really think I have to leave that to the people. But I can say this, that I try my best to be humble, to be kind to others, to respect others, because it's not only for me. When you're kind to people, you are able to be kind to yourself. When you respect others, you are able to respect yourself. But I think what's more important is that I want to bring positivity into the world. Going back to being an actor or a TV host or a TV personality, yes, I've been blessed to have this fame. People know me. To quote a Spider-Man quote, with great powers comes great responsibility, right? So I think a lot of people out there look up to me. So I try to be a good role model for them. And I want to show them that you can be successful and you can be kind at the same time.
Maybe this is from the movie, or maybe this is from some perspective, or maybe some assumption, but there are the mentality, especially in the past. If you are in the business world, you need to be like so competitive, you need to be uptight, you need to be intense. And now these days we're talking about the trend about business being involving kindness, compassion, and empathy as an integral part of the business. So in your opinion, we just said this, that you need to be kind, right? And in order to be successful, can you maybe explain a little bit how, if it's possible, can business and kindness go hand in hand? Is it really possible?
Well, I strongly agree that you can be a good business person, but you can be kind and compassionate at the same time. As an entrepreneur, I can say this, that, and I'm also an investor, an angel investor. I invest in companies. Yeah, of course, I mean, if you want to lead people, you need to be a good leader. You need to be sharp. You need to be precise. You need to be a lot of things, because being an entrepreneur is not easy. But I think at the same time, the world's changing. Back then, yes, I think people think that to be successful, you need to be shrewd, you need to be sharp, you need to be tough. But I think many successful like leaders or entrepreneurs around the world have shown that you can be kind, compassionate. You can at the same time, as a business owner who have quite a lot of employees or partners and stakeholders. I think when it comes to business, right? Of course, if you own a business, no matter how big or small, you have to lead people, right? It can be like 2 people, it can be 200, it can be 2,000 people. And there are 2 types of people, I think 2 types of leaders in the world, basically. One, people follow you because they are afraid of you. They fear you. And number 2, they follow you because they admire you. You inspire them. So I think coming back to the business and compassionate thing, I think it's very possible to be both successful, a businessman, to be extremely successful and extremely kind and a good person at the same time.
I see. Right. And you need to believe that it's possible first to be able to strive for becoming that person.
Yes,
and I think you set a very great example. A little bit of gimmick question: do you have a role model that inspired you to become who you are today?
Oh, that's a very hard one, because I have so many to take all days. I have a lot of models, the living and the dead.
Okay.
But if I had to choose just one to maybe save time for you and your audience, I would have to go with Warren Buffett.
Oh, yeah.
Not because he's the greatest investor of all time, and as a value investor, he's my teacher. But if you listen to his interviews or watch his documentary, or if you follow him for a long time, just like I have, you will find out that he's a teacher. he teaches a lot of useful practical wisdom. For example, as we know that he's one of the richest people in the world, right? I think about 10 or 20 years ago, he pledged to give 9% of his wealth to do good things, like charitable things, right?
Right.
And he's around 90 something now, and he's given half already. Half.
Wow.
I mean, he's worth roughly around, if not mistaken, close to $100 billion US. Now, this, if he hadn't given any of his money away, he would be next to Elon Musk right now.
Right.
So I think he really inspired me, and I'm trying to follow his path. I don't have any kids, so what I've been doing is basically accumulate wealth, and one day I hope to be able to have a lot and be able to do the same, give it away, and to the people who need it more than I do.
Wow.
Mm.
I guess we digitally มอบมงค่ะ ไม่ได้ แล้วใส่สะพายไม่ได้ Now that you have achieved, of course, a certain level of financial freedom, you have done a lot of businesses, and what inspired you to start Money Matters?
I think the big vision and mission that I have is I just want to help improve the country, improve Thailand. And I think, to me, I could be wrong, okay? I think one of the best way to improve the country is to improve the people, human assets, and how to improve the people through education. And financial education or financial literacy I think is one of the most important things that we can, let's say, if they have education, right, financial education, they'll be able to let's say make more money.
For sure.
For let's say someone is making 10,000 baht, right, and if they watch or follow me for like a year and they are able to make from 10 to 20,000, that's already 100% gain, right?
Right.
Or a parent making 100 grand, okay, with 2 kids, that's not really wealthy. I mean, with 2 kids, that's a lot of money, right? And if I can help them make more money from, like, let's say 100 grand to 200 grand, of course, their kids will have a better education. The parents will be able to give more money to their parents,
right,
and maybe give back to the society. I'm 43, right?
Right.
When I was young, like really young, when I went to school, the teachers would tell me that, oh, Thailand is a developing country, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, 40 years later, we are still developing.
I know. Right.
And we've been stuck in the middle income trap for 30 years. And according to the research, if we keep going at this pace, let's say like 3% GDP growth every year, it would take us around 40 more years to get out of the middle income trap. And imagine that, 70 years of being stuck in the middle income trap. That we don't make a lot of money. That means a lot of people in the society that don't make a lot of money, not having a good quality of life. So I think one of the goals that I wanted to help is to help us get out of this trap. That's number one. So by providing financial literacy. Number two is to close in the wealth gap. We've had this problem for a long time, which keeps getting richer, and the rest keeps getting poorer. And the reason being is that they just have different knowledge and different mindsets.
For sure.
And with wealth gap or income inequality will lead to many inequalities, like in the country. For example, education, right? If you are, let's say, if you're rich parents, you are most likely to be able to send your kids to better school, right? And better schools and better education will probably help your children become more successful, more easily. I'm not saying that. Of course, there will be outliers, people who are from nothing and can break out and succeed, but we have to admit it's very rare. So that's one part, right? Inequality in education, inequality in care. Let's say if you make a lot of money, when you're sick, you go to the best hospitals, best doctors, right? Okay. But if you are not rich, let's say you are the rest of the population and you are sick, I'm not sure if you've ever been to a public hospital or not.
Yes.
People would go there around at 3 a.m. and they would leave their shoes, their sandals in line, and they will go and sleep and eat and come back. And that will create another problem, right? Okay, the rich would get cured faster because they have better care, better medicine, whereas the rest would get cheaper, more side effects medicine, for example. Not only that, it will lead to, maybe I should not say this, but sometimes I think it leads to inequality and justice. Yeah. I mean, we have been living in a country where the rich get away with pretty much everything, whereas the rest were doing the same crime. They would be in jail or they would be punished. So, and I think that's the way I look at the world and at this country. So, the reason, coming back to answer your question, why I started this program or this channel, because I want to do all that, basically.
Right. It makes sense. It made total sense. We just talk about this like K-shaped kind of inequality thing, that the rich keep getting richer, the poor getting poorer, and it's like it becomes a vicious cycle, right? Because one thing leads to another. Now, can we talk a little bit about wealth? And in Thai, I think it's called ความมั่งคั่ง, right? And maybe I think different people may have different definition of wealth, right? So as you as an expert in the area, so how do you define wealth, or how do you consider someone, this person is wealthy, this person is not wealthy? How do you define it?
I think I can only speak for myself. My definition of wealth is, you need to have a lot of things, at least 3 things to me personally. You need money, you need time, and you need health. For example, let's say I make so much money, but I don't have time for my loved ones. I don't think, to me, at least just to me, that's not wealth. It's not wealth. Or I can have a lot of money, a lot of time, but I have cancer stage 1 or a heart disease. I don't think that's wealth either. Or I can be very healthy and have a lot of time, but no money. That's not also wealth to me. So I think at least 3 things that I need to have to be wealthy is money, time, and health at the same time. And I'd like to add that not just money, time, and health. I think to be truly wealthy is, and I'm quoting or paraphrasing Warren Buffett here. You can have a hospital wing named after you, or you can have a foundation named after you. But if at the end no one really love and respect you, I don't think that's wealthy either. So to me, wealth, we have to look at many dimensions,
For sure.
not just money. It's really hard to define wealth. Some people define it as having a lot of time, which I think I just want to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and wherever I want, with whomever I want.
Ooh, so that's like kind of like the phrase itself. So would you say that you are like would you consider yourself wealthy enough already?
I think by definition, yes, I am to a certain extent. I could be better. I could have more. The reason that I want to have more is because it's not about money, or it's not about better quality of life anymore. But I think we should always strive to be better, because let's say anyone can make more money, right? If that person can make more money, the only way to make more money, he has to put in effort, right? He has to try harder, put in more hours. So he's expanding himself. If you want to if you want to grow your life, you have to grow yourself.
Exactly, 100%. I think some people may argue that, but being rich doesn't make you happy. You don't have to be rich to be happy or to be like living a worthwhile life. Or what do you say about that?
To me, it has no correlation, because no one and nothing can make you happy. And no one and nothing can make you sad and miserable but yourself.
Wow.
So I think people need to start to realize that the only way that I'm sad, let's say, for example, you say something bad to me, I cannot be sad unless I believe what you say or accept what you say. And the same with happiness too. No matter what you say or what you do to me will make you happy. The only way that I can be happy is I choose to be happy. So coming back to about money and about happiness, to me, I don't see any correlation. I know a lot of rich people who are miserable. I know a lot of people who make so little money, but they are extremely happy. However, I want to say this, that money to me is a tool. It's just a tool. Money is basically an option. If you have a lot of money, then you have just a lot of option. It doesn't make you good or bad, happy or miserable. So, for example, you have a lot of money, right? You can choose to fly, let's say, first class.
Right.
And you can also choose to fly economy class. Right. You just have wider option. But if you have, let's say, you have limited amount of money, then you're forced to choose economy class only.
Right.
So I think it's just money is just an option. What you do with it, that determines who you are.
Based on the principle, based on the vision that you want to help people. And I feel like a lot of your videos, as we can already tell, do not only help us with technical advice, what is cryptocurrency, what is DeFi. Of course, you provide that as well, but more importantly, you talk a lot about the mindset for investing, about on saving, on using money, spending money. So why do we need to have the right mindset about money? Isn't it just about numbers? Why do we need to learn about mindset as well?
Okay, that's a very good question. There are two sets, right? Mindset and skill sets. The way I say it is that, okay, it's like a car. Your ability to turn left and right, that's skill set. However, without the engine, you go nowhere. So that's the mindset. So you need both, but if you ask me, mindset is much more important because it's the power of how far or how fast you can go is your mindset. Also, I think especially when it comes to money, people tend to have a misconception. People often relate or link money with goodness.
Right.
And a lot of people think that rich people are rich because they cheat others their way to richness, or they have to take advantage of others to be rich. They have to corrupt to be rich. So, and once they have that information, that input all their life, of course, that's the way their mind is shaped, right? So we call it a business. We call it a financial blueprint. Just like when you build a house.
Right.
Let's say you want to build a new house, right? You need a blueprint first. Architect needs to draw out something for you. And let's say you have a land of one right in Bangkok, and you have this blueprint, right?
Right.
You can build this house anywhere, and it will just go out that, right? And at the same time, let's say you have one right in Ho Chi Minh, okay, and you have the exact same blueprint. Your house will look exactly the same. Same with finance. If we have, let's say, crooked financial blueprint, your house will be crooked.
For sure,
because that's because you will follow the blueprint. So I think that's part of the reason. I think that it's a big part of the reasons why people are not doing so well financially, despite their hard work.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people out there working from in the morning, coming home late. Some people work 2 or even 3 jobs at the same time, but they're still not going anywhere. In case some people are watching and are in this situation, I think my advice to you is, I think maybe you need to reset your mindset when it comes to money. And to some people, money equals evil. Money is the root of all evil, but to me, money is optional. Money is a tool, and it can be used in a both positive and negative way. It has nothing to do with goodness or badness. Okay. So I think I get asked a lot about this question. I think money doesn't change you. Money only expands who you are. If you are a good person, you have a lot of money, then you will do a lot more good things. And if you're a bad person, no matter, and you have a lot of money, you do a lot of damage to the world.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your investment. What has been the best investment for you so far in your life?
That's an easy one. Investment in myself, my body and my mind, my brain, because these are it's the most expensive, most valuable assets that you have, right? And you cannot change it either. It's not like a phone. Okay, the new iPhone comes. Okay, let's change it. You cannot change your brain. You cannot change your body. You need to only one for the rest of your life. So I think the best investment you can do is invest in yourself. And, just like I'm going to quote Buffett again, the more you learn, the more you earn, right? And I think it's not just about earning money. The more you learn, the more you become better at everything. Money, relationship, health, and many more.
And the reasons that people are watching this, listening to people right now is actually an investment in yourself as well, learning more from people.
Hope so.
Last but not least, do you have any advice to maybe young people, or maybe not just young people, but people who are watching this right now who just starting their financial journey or want to maybe improve their financial situation as well?
Okay. When it comes to creating wealth, you need three things basically. You need, of course, money. You need time, and lastly, you need yield per year, basically return per year. So a lot of you, I'm sure, are very young. So that's a big advantage already. Let's talk about money first. You don't need a lot of money. You just need to be disciplined with your money. For example, invest every month, which is called dollar cost averaging. For example, it could be 1,000 baht, 3,000 baht, 5,000 baht every month. Okay. Number two is time. Of course, the younger you are, the faster you start. You have the longer time that your investment will compound. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, just like Einstein said. So if you are very young and you can start early, you're gonna do very well. You don't have to get really high return, but you can just invest, for example, in index fund,
Right.
providing you 8 to 10% annually. You compound that for 30, 40 years. That's a lot of money already. And last, yes, you need a return, right? So if you want higher return, you need more knowledge and experience. So my advice to the young audience: learn fast, fail fast.
For sure. That's directly the advice that I also need. This session is definitely worth at least 1 million baht. Seriously. I feel like I'm getting our private lessons, and now everybody is getting as well, and also all of your contents on your channels. I'm beyond grateful. So allow me to thank on behalf of the audience watching this as well. Thank you again for not only sharing on the show today, but also giving us extremely helpful and inspiring content. It really helped us learn so much and make much better decision. ขอบคุณจากใจแทนแฟนคลับทุกคนอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะคะโอเค Wow. Anything else that you would like to leave for our audience before we wrap up the interview?
You have one life. You live it to the fullest of your ability, and life to me is just a collection of moments. If you want a good happy life, you just make sure that you try to make every moment good and happy as possible. If you have, let's say, I have a lot of, let's say, happy moments, right? Let's say one moment is 1 minute. Okay? If you have a lot of good happy minutes, right? That hour is going to be a happy hour, right? So, and many happy hours will make you a good day. Will give you a good day. A lot of good days will give you a good month, happy month. A lot of good months will give you a good year. A lot of good years will give you a good life.
Right. So looking at small pieces collecting to be one big chunk of good life. Wow, that's amazing. So much words of wisdom today. I'm pretty sure everybody is screaming. So ladies and gentlemen, what are the lessons you have learned from today's talk from people today? Please let us know in the comment down below. วันนี้ได้เรียนรู้อะไรบ้างอย่าลืมมาแชร์กันในคอมเมนต์นะคะ Alright, thank you so much for watching. Thank you people once again นะคะขอบคุณมากนะคะ Thank you for watching and listening to our show, and that's it for today. Bye. ถ้าได้ประโยชน์จากวิดีโอนี้ชอบเนื้อหาแบบนี้กด subscribe กดไลค์กดกระดิ่งแจ้งเตือนจะได้ไม่พลาดคอนเทนต์ต่อไปของฝรั่งอังมอให้ทุกคนได้เรียนรู้และเก่งขึ้นไปด้วยกันนะคะ Happy learning